Today's message has been kind of percolating in my mind for some time. There's a song that I've been listening to by Cody Carnes and Carrie Job, Elevation Worship. It's called The Blessing. It's based upon Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 to 27. The book of Numbers, of course, is part of the Exodus journey written by Moses, and the focus of chapter 6 is the priestly prayer and Moses and Aaron giving the message from God, the priestly prayer, the priestly blessing to the people. It says, the Lord spoke to Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless the Israelites. You should say to them, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. In this way, they will pronounce my name over the Israelites, and I will bless them. The blessing is a message that's just right. It's the perfect fit. When you're living in the blessing of God, all is right with you and your world. You and God are the perfect fit. The first part of this particular blessing is what I call the promise. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord bless you and protect you. As I said, this was part of Moses' personal journey. At the age of 80, he began the journey of a lifetime. Although he didn't know it at the time, it would be his final journey. He would be responsible for a nation of several million people. And his mission was to lead them from Egypt, their temporary home, to their real and true home, Israel. He accepted the mission because he was convinced that God was going to bless and protect Israel no matter what difficulties they encountered. God had given his promise. But there will be difficulties along the way. Difficulty number one would be Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. It is probable that at that time, the Pharaoh was the most important man on earth. He had great building projects, and he needed slave labor for all his projects. And his slaves were the Hebrew people. Apparently, they were good workers. But like many slave owners, the Pharaoh had a long history of abusing his slaves. And it was time for God to free his people, with Moses and his brother Aaron and sister Miriam leading the way. Moses opposed Pharaoh with a staff, and God would bring 10 mighty plagues upon Pharaoh and Egypt, all the while sparing Moses and the Israelites. Eventually, after 10 tries, Pharaoh agreed to let God's people go. The difficulty number two was the Hebrew people, not all the Hebrew people, of course, but there were certain leaders among the 12 tribes who were the worst of the lot. They wanted the easy way out. They wanted to avoid hunger and thirst and the giants and the oppressors. They wanted the equivalent of an interstate highway and got instead nothing but rough roads and switchbacks and obstacles everywhere they looked. So instead of the people praying for God to bless and protect them in the midst of life's obstacles and struggles, they were begging for the easy path to prosperity. Now let me ask you, how is your journey of life going? Are you finding that the journey is more difficult than what you wanted it to be? And how are you dealing with the setbacks and switchbacks and detours? Are the tests and trials making you stronger? Are they making you more thankful? Or is life getting you down and you need a pick-me-up? The difficulty number three is really at the heart of the issue. It is the faith issue. The Hebrews thought the mission was the land of milk and honey, the promised land, but the mission was finding and living a life of faith. The mission wasn't the destination. The mission was the relationship. The faith issue began with God, a real and present God who led them with the cloud by day and the fire by night, who spoke to them through Moses directly and also through the Ten Commandments, who provided every day the miracle they needed for that day, the bread, the meat, the water, the protection from their enemies. God even made sure that their clothing did not wear out. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And every day, Moses' message to the people was, don't be afraid. Stand firm and see the Lord's salvation that he will accomplish for you today. The second part of the blessing song is the invocation of God's favor. God's favor. May the Lord's blessing include his favor. May his face shine on you. May the Lord be gracious to you. What does the Lord's favor look like? What does it feel like? How do you know when you have it and when you do not? One of the great words of the Bible is the word grace. Literally, grace means God's unmerited favor. It means you cannot earn it. It is a gift. Grace is a gift. Paul wrote in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9, for by grace are you saved through, by faith. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Grace is like the child at Christmas. Under the tree are gifts. They come from parents and siblings and other important people in the life of the child. And the child gets the gifts not because of something he or she has done, but just because. Just because he or she is part of the family. Just because he or she is loved unconditionally. Another way for us to understand the power of grace is to use this acrostic, G-R-A-C-E. Grace means God's riches at Christ's expense. God's riches at Christ's expense. Grace is Jesus Christ dying for you and me on the cross. Grace is him who knew no sin becoming sin for you and me. Grace is Jesus being the mediator between a holy God and a sinful people. The third part of the blessing is a prayer that the Lord will give you peace. Peace. Do you need peace in your life today? And the blessing song is included the lyrics that God's presence goes before you, beside you, behind you. God is with you, within you. He is for you. He is with you in the morning. He is with you in the evening. When you're coming in and when you're going out. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're going through. God's blessing means that he wants you to have peace, to live peace, to know peace, and to trust God's peace for you. And not just for you personally, but for your family and your children and their children for 1,000 generations. You might want to check out the song. Just type in the words Cody Carnes, Carrie Job, Elevation Worship, The Blessing. It will inspire you. It's inspired me. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord's face shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor upon you. May the Lord give you peace today. God bless you.